So we've got a 1955 Ford Thunderbird that comes, we're working with as a 292 running a Holley, what they called 4000 teapot carburetor. And these had the old oil bath air filters on them. The oil bath air filter was great for an era of dusty roads, dirt roads, gravel, things like that. The highway system, while not perfect, as we all know, has come a long way since 1955. And the need for this type of air filter is not necessary anymore. And a lot of guys want to switch this out because this oil, it does make a little bit of a mess whenever you're doing routine maintenance. It's a pain to keep this thing balanced and from spilling as you're working, moving it around, working on your car. So let's take a look at some of the options. There's a few, when I dove down this rabbit hole, there's a few websites out there, some links, and the problems I've run into with those is either, first of all, the K&N filter number that a lot of guys recommend does not fit this, okay? Second thing I found out, there is a tech sheet somebody developed that's a really good resource. The problem with it is the chrome lid that you have to have for that filter setup is currently not in production anymore. So good luck finding one if you want to go that route, switch it out to an air filter. So let's take a look. This is just what I did that worked for me. This is not, I'm not your mechanic. This isn't advice. This is just kind of what worked for me. So we take a look. We want to take our air filter. We've got our carburetor. We take our air filter off simply. Remove the screw on top. As we remove our air filter, we can take a look here at the carburetor real quick, and you can see this is the Holley 4000 teapot style carburetor that this filter comes off of. Okay, so let's move this aside for a minute, and let's take a look here at our air cleaner. All right, and as we start to disassemble it, we can see that the chrome lid comes off with the oil bath air filter, and then usually this piece here will have a bunch of nasty oil kind of sloshing around down in here. It looks like on ours maybe somebody's done a little bit of a repair there at one time, okay, to keep the oil from leaking out of this and all over your carburetor, right? Last thing you want is oil running down and into all of this, right? Okay, so this part's fairly simple. There's no modification needed here. Feel free to take this, set it aside. It is very important. We'll need to keep this for a few future measurements we'll need to take. All right, so as we move to the lid, all right, what we find is this lid, this filter is crimped into this lid cover here, okay, right around here, okay, this lip is crimped down. Now, it's simple. This one is an older filter. If yours is in excellent condition, you might go a different route. But this one's probably, on a 10 scale, about a 6 or 7. The chrome's still there, but it suffered some mechanical modifications during routine maintenance. It looks like there's dimples around the edges of it and scratches in it. But it's in good shape and it's original. So what we do is we take, the free can openers that you get at the hardware store every time you buy a can of paint. We're going to take that and we're going to stick that just under our lip here, just under this chrome lip. And it makes the perfect angle to just simply pry that lip up just enough that then you can work another tool under it. There we go. Okay, and you want to do this very carefully, not prying against the under edge. That will deform the top, right? So we're using this piece and we're just gently lifting, just kind of wiggling it up just a little bit. just so we can get a different tool that's going to give us a better bite on there. Now we're going to work this all the way around, and I'm not going to lie, this takes a lot of time, okay? Patience with it. You don't want to mess that chrome up. Then as you go around, you can either get, these worked really well for me, you can slide those right under and bend that lip up. Okay, once you've got that lip up all the way around here, you can start to rustle this out and it will come out. Okay, as it comes out, you got kind of your bird nest in here that acted as your filter originally, right? This piece here, if you want to keep it, it's your original piece, throw it aside. We won't need it anymore, right? As you take a look at your top, okay, you want to be sure get all that oil, right, from that nasty oil bath filter. Get it out of there, all right. There's a couple tabs here along the top. Those tabs, we just kind of knock those down a little bit, okay? Not all the way flat. You'll notice that they are tack welded to this lid that has been chromed, so breaking them off, not really an option. If yours are missing, putting them back on, not really an option, okay? So we've got that. Now, here's kind of the tricky part. Took some trial and error. In the era of 3D printing, maybe if you have somebody here, somebody's got an idea, you could 3D print one of these real easy. For me, old-fashioned, I had to look around the shop, see what I could find that's going to be tall enough, the right diameter, and have a lip on it enough to catch a filter to fit down in here, okay? So what we come up with is you go over to the side of your shop and find your Shopvac. Take the motor top off of it, and at the bottom of your filter you will see a black piece about this tall. Okay, this one's been trimmed down with a nut. Sometimes the nut's built into this, right? Take that off and your filter sits on top of this for your Shopvac, right? Take that filter off. You're going to sacrifice this piece for the build. A simple razor blade will slice through this like butter, okay? Be very careful not to cut yourself as you work your way around. Just kind of score it at first, and then each time going a little deeper on your groove, and it will cut right through, giving you a fairly straight line, or as straight as you can make your initial score, right? There is a few, you might have to cut away a few pieces in the top for clearance on this old teapot carburetor, right? This bad boy here, it's got this thing that has to fit down, right? So what we had to do was cut away for the clearance there to allow for that to clear. Okay. Then once that's done, the cool thing about this is going to be that its diameter is perfect to utilize these tabs as actual clips for this, okay? This will actually, once you line it up with all three of these, will click down in there and not come out, okay? All right. Now, the filter that we'll use that works for this is not the popular K&N that you see everybody talking about online. It is a Wix Air filter. There's your part number 42297. Okay, and it's just a simple filter. All right, but it fits perfectly, right? This bottom piece is directional, right? So be sure you've got it going the right direction as you work on it. So you've got a little bit of adjustment, but for the most part, sits on straight. Take our filter here, it sits down in there. This is the tricky part that takes a lot of testing and retesting, is getting the height of this piece precise, right? So once you got your clearances cut out of it, you can put it in and you can start kind of miking it until you get it back down to the height this was, right, originally. is this sit down in here. All right, so this is good to take a measurement off of. It's got a bevel. Be sure you line that bevel up with the bottom correctly. You can set this on, and from there you can mark the distance here, right, from the lid to this, and that gives you a good starting point to aim for as you place this down in here. Okay, and you start trimming away on your Shopvac filter. Okay, so here, as we start working on this, we'll see that we have marked that, but remember this piece actually sits down in this bevel a little bit, right? So you've got to account for that depth as well, from this lip here to the inside of this, right? That distance there, right? So as we start working with it, we take this piece, click this piece down in here, and place this back on top. What I found here is once you've got this back together and under the hood, this looks a little bit goofy, right in through here. Okay, so to take a look at that, we went with just some grill mesh. Okay, get this at a lot of auto parts stores. If not, what is it, customgrills.com, I believe, is where this came from. And you'll cut this, again, take a measurement of your height from, you know, the bottom of this to where your chrome rim is. Okay, place that in there. And this could be pop riveted if you wanted to pop rivet into yours, but it sits down in there snugly and doesn't move once it's all assembled. Okay, when it's time to crimp this lip back down around here, in order to keep from scratching up your chrome, right, you could just grab a pair of pliers and start in on it, you know, but we don't want to do that. Okay, so what works really well for that is one of these popsicle sticks. Take it, you're going to use it. Okay, you place one end here, place one end here, use something like a flat, and you'll start working that lip over, and just work it real slow. You'll work your way around, and as you do that, it'll flatten that edge out around there. Now you want to be careful not to back and forth, or you'll end up with a rippled edge all the way around. Okay, so you want to be real smooth and even as you go around. And once all of this is back together, you'll have your carburetor, you'll have your bottom tray, you'll have your Wix air filter, your grill diamond netting or whatever you choose. This comes in honeycomb and all kinds of different shapes and designs and colors, silver, chrome, black, right? Whatever's your cup of tea. And we just place that in. Let's turn the carburetor around so you can kind of see how this is going together, right? We make sure our air cleaner is on our carburetor directionally. We get our filter in over the ring. We put our netting in. And then lastly will be our chrome cap with the Shopvac trimmed down shim on there, placed on here. Now remember, we've trimmed it out for that clearance, so we want to make sure that this clearance clears this tea kettle here. And as we do that, it will sit right down on there. That, and we can install our thumb screw back into it, or I believe a lot of these came originally with a quarter 20 bolt and a washer installed in the breather cover. And once we go back with that, we are good to roll. All right. Hopefully, if you're trying to make this conversion, you come across this video, I've offered a little bit of insight into what you're dealing with. Best of luck to you, and thanks for watching.